What's up, my peeps? Back on the live again. I'm gonna do a reaction video today to the what they call nut to this we call Not the Shop podcast. So he gonna be interviewing a late to a male and a female there. Now they're gonna be asking them some questions. I haven't really watched the full video. I've saw a little piece of the clips, but I want us to run through it a little bit, and we're gonna do a little reaction to it and see that see how we can break it down a little bit, give you my perspective on it, and we can move forward with that. All right, so we never don't forget to like, share, subscribe. You can hit the notification so next time I go online. I'm gonna try to be online a little bit more often than I normally do, but trying to work on some things. So trying to put more time in. But anyway, moving to get to the video. Let's get started.
Time where men actually courted
Turn up a
women,
little
actually were
volume
nice
real
to
quick.
women, open doors and bring flowers and shit like that. And they're saying that men of this new generation don't do that shit no more. So they done came up with the conclusion of saying, well, you know what? I don't think men really like women anymore. They just like the idea of having sex with women.
I mean, that could be true. That could be true. I don't, but the men not liking women, I don't know. Maybe there could be some truth to that. I don't know.
Ooh.
I really can't really say.
I'm saying with the men that you encounter, do it feel like they really?
No, I think men like me, so I don't know. But I mean, you do, get those.
So that's a question I'm like, the individualism mentality is like so annoying. He asked a general question, and for some reason, when you ask a general question, it's more predominant in the woman's side. Not saying men don't do it too, but it's more common for the females. You ask a general question, and they always try to idea themselves in the situation. He said generally, 'cause you have girlfriends and you see TV, you see stuff on social media and so forth and so forth. So I know you see what is more common that a woman would say, your female friends would say. It's not generally yourself. So women need to lay off of that self-absorbent type of personality because everything is not about you.
Men that are kind of full of themselves and they may do just they all that what you bring to the table and all that kind of stuff you looking for you find more men kind of looking for helpmates than you do women sometimes nowadays, so it could be that could be the case that men don't particularly like women, they just want to screw them. That could be the case.
Damn, I'm gonna get stuck and killed for this one.
I mean, you would know, do y'all? Is that the case?
What you think, Bob?
I think men don't encounter a real woman until they get in their 30s. Because growing up, our first experience with a woman, it comes from our mothers. And if you come from a single parent
I want to
household,
push back on that point that he just made. He made a good point, but it's for me, and this is a self-absorbent situation at this point. But I'm viewing myself like from my experiences, but express it in a general way from seeing how things have developed over time generally. But I'm kind of like flashing in my past experiences, right? In terms of what he said, that men generally not knowing a woman till they're in their 30s, or they probably don't seek out, to be stable or to be more grounded with a woman like in the 30s. I don't think that's true. I think what happened is we have tried. I think men more want to be grounded with a girl in a younger age. Most men, I think, especially if the guy never really been with a women. Most of the guys who want to have sex with multiple women is dudes who've been with a girl and you know, it didn't work out, and he just like, you know what? From here on out, I'm just gonna keep doing me, right? Even though it's naturally for men to be polygamous creatures, to be polygamous, in their polygamous nature. At a young age, most dudes they get hurt from a girl and they just go straight from that point. They say, you know what, screw it. But in most cases, I feel it could be a female. I would say I think, and based on what I've seen and talked to a lot of younger dudes, most dudes are in love when they're younger. Now I'm talking about from like the '90s going back, from the 2005 up. I can't speak about that, but from 2005 back, I said most dudes would say they probably were in love within the first or second girl that they ever met. Because, we was coming up from the era of the women seeking out a man to be with, and men would potentially look for the girl that he want to be with. Now, in today's time, yes, men tend to hit their peak when they hit like, I would say between 25 and 30 or 35, and we tend to be more serious about life and take things a little bit more seriously. But it doesn't mean that we don't do it in a prior age. It's just that we're more sheltered in a prior age, so we kind of tend to not want to. You tend to get a little more freelance between 16 to 25. By the time 25 hit, for some dudes, by the time 25 hit, we're kind of like, it's time to get serious. You know what I mean? So I don't think 35 is the main age. I just think 35 is the age now because most of the women today are not grounded into commitment like they used to, and most dudes get their heart broken from women versus women getting their heart broken from men. Um, I can go deeper into that, but we're gonna leave that for other segments because I want to go into a lot of reasons why men and women don't really bond together as much, and the structure of how women should be pursuing men versus how men pursue women. So that's a whole nother conversation. But what he just said is an important thing. But I think that's just a new era type thing. Because if you look back in the day, men and women was shacking up, or I was just getting married from a young age, from like 18. Some of them was one being together from the time of teenagers to by the time they turn 22, and then they get married, right? Or sometimes it's, if they have a baby, they might have a 2 year relationship or whatever, and then they get married like 2 3 years later. You know what I mean? This is before 25. The 30-year thing is just now. It's just that women are less more trustworthy now. Also, too, I want to hit another topic about women being sexually exposed versus how men are sexually exposed. All right, let's continue.
Your mom, you're going to probably get a lot of masculine energy coming from her. So you don't really get it authentically to your memory in terms of being raised. And so there are other traits that's embedded in you as a toddler, terrible two age, in terms of being gaslit and emotionally neutered, that you spend from the age of 2 to probably 35 trying to navigate and find out, okay, how do a real woman carry herself? Like, even in I see you, I like you, and I approach you phase, I'm met with masculinity probably 60% of the time. So you really don't get to know a woman until you kind of get a peek behind that wall.
Well, I don't like the masculinity thing. Maybe y'all vast a little too much in your femininity. Maybe that's the case. But just because a woman is strong does not mean that she's masculine. Just because she knows how to carry weight does not mean it's heavy. She just does what she has to do. So I don't.
All right, so the masculine thing is always a trigger word for women. Uh, they don't like the word masculine. They don't like it on the men and they don't like it on the women. I think it's about time we get we get over that word. We know why women are very aggressive, why they're very independent, why they're very masculated. And it's not that a woman is she's like testosterone. It just means that she have to force herself to live a way that she don't need to. But the bottom line is this: when they had to force to do it, during the disruptions of the system, you know, we get it. But like for her, for example, I'm assuming that she's in her 40s, right, or 50s, whichever between there. She should know the history for why she have to be that way, for why she was raised in a single home and she had to force to take care of herself, so forth, so forth. Even why some of the men she had experiences, or the men that she had seen her mom with, had experienced, the not coming and leaving or whatever the case is. And I don't know why when women know a problem or a cause to a problem, they tend to blame the problem versus the cause to fix the problem. I hope y'all understand what I'm saying. Men, it's easy. This is why we do. This is okay. We do focus on men, but here's the difference. When we tell men not to do something, then we might have to do them once or twice, just to remind them and whatever. But guess what? They tend to follow suit. They tend to go show action. They tend to, okay, you know what? Let me try this because this ain't working, right? They put effort into it, right? But when you tell a woman, yo, this is what happened, this is how this happened, this is what you need to do to stop this from happening, they push back. Like, oh, you're just trying to do this. Because the thing is, women have this fear to be in their natural state, because their natural state makes them look weaker. It's not necessary that they're weaker, because being in your feminine energy and being in your feminine self, being in your comfort zone, it's a strength for you, because this is your natural body, the natural desire of behavior. Why do they have to push back? I mean, the damage is done. So the fear of wanting to let go that power that she already built over the years. I don't need you. I can do it by myself. But the thing is, this is the thing that women don't understand. The things that they're so-called claiming to give them power are the things that men are providing for them to have, so they can have the power. For example, the whole welfare system, or the war on drugs, and that created the disparity generally for black people, destroying the black communities and then forcing them to live in certain areas, to basically control their movements and everything. This was the setup. Okay, all that was a setup. They know the situation. Us in the 40s, we know what happened, right? The children, which is our children, right, and us in the 40s, right, experience that trauma, that trial. We watch our parents kind of struggle through that. Like, okay, where's the man at? Where's dad at? Or dad working 2 jobs, 3 jobs, or he might end up dying, or he might go stress and drink too much, or he might end up in jail, or he might getting killed, whatever. Some of them just couldn't take it and they leave, right? Some of them they might have an extra girl or whatever, and then boom, right? So here's what happened. The woman had to go through a trials of being on her own. We didn't make that happen. That was set up for us to do. In the era now where we can see the damage and say this is what causing our disparities in relationships because of this, women are not falling back and saying, or looking at the damage and say, we can fix this because we know the men didn't cause it. But that's not what they're saying. What they're doing is they're blaming the men and saying, "Well, since y'all okay." Some of them are saying, "Since y'all wasn't there, we don't need you." Some of them are saying, "Well, I've been like this and this is who I am," and the others are saying, "Well, maybe you need to change." But it may not change. They might say, "Okay, fine. Maybe we could change a little bit just to give you some sympathy, to take away some of the manpower abilities, and let y'all be more independent and trying to balance that out." That's not enough. We can't go too far because we go too far, we're going to demasculate ourselves. So we have to hold on to some kind of testosterone and some kind of leadership role or some kind of manly role so the woman could even want to desire us still or to make us feel normal in ourselves. So basically, what I'm saying is, I mean, I hope I'm not confusing you guys too much. Basically, what I'm saying is this: women know where they are now. They understand because I guarantee the way she's speaking, you could tell she understands the situation. And like she said, the masculine thing is bothering her. He just explained to her, due to the things that we were going through, we had to learn to, operate a certain way. And she's just like, well, maybe y'all need to be a little more feminine. Why you don't want to be with a dude who's too soft, but yet you don't want to be the guy who's gonna structuralize and lead you or make decisions in the home. Naturally, men have to determine how the woman move because how she moves it says a lot about who he is as a man or how he moves as a man. She adapts to it. Women are not adapting or they're not changing their fate or their design that was placed in to make a better life for us men. They're challenging that. They want us to be better. They want us to accept them for the failures. They want us to fix our failures, but yet they don't want to fix their failures. They don't want to fix the damage that was done to them, along with us, to make things different. We can't fix your problem, our problem, at the same time. If the man said we're gonna work on us, y'all need to work on y'all. That's how it's supposed to be. And y'all need to stop worrying about women men being masculine because that's what makes us men. We have to be strong. We have to be aggressive. We have to be able to make some discerned decisions. Decisions you're not gonna like, but you have to go beyond to go with it. You have to be able to say, babe, okay, since you don't, I make this amount. Hey, that's another thing. Speaking about money, and then women place money in the perspective of a man. Man, money is not the only thing that defines a man. And money does not define the operation of a man. That's just one attribute or small attribute when it comes to the fact that a woman might need a man to provide food when she have children. When she have children, because in some cases women could find their own food. They can plant do some garden work and get their own food. They don't need us to do that. They could sew their own clothes. In these times, they can go to work. But the difference is, we have this thing called the feminist group, and they're pushing to overthrow men, to basically control men. And I said, fine, go ahead, do that. Let's see how they're gonna work out for you. They gotta understand if men allow women to control them, it's not that you have control of them. We're just letting you do what you want so we'll get what we want. That's how that works. In nature, everything have a hierarchy. Everything does. Men are hierarchies over women, regardless of how you feel or think about it. It's just the way it is. There's a reason for that. Just like out in the animal kingdom, when the female is pregnant, the male generally have to have some kind of protection over her, or she have to have the male to be protection over her, because she's weaker in that state. When she have her pups or her little babies, guess what? She have to have a male to protect her. Or in some cases, the female might go, to go hide out or try to separate herself from everybody so she don't put her pups in danger. In a human nature, the male is there to help protect her young ones, or sometimes it could just be the community. So she need to get over this male masculine thing. And the thing is, for women, you know, y'all are masculine. Y'all are, we define it as masculine because it's a masculine trait. It doesn't mean that you are masculine. It means that you're mimicking a masculine trait. You're trying to dominate a man because when two men come together and they're exerting their masculine traits, it's about to go down. Because I gotta show my aggression, he gotta show his aggression. I gotta show my dominance, he gotta show his dominance. And at the end of the day, if just the error or the aura of dominance doesn't, you know, uh, satisfy the rivalry, then you're gonna be action. You're gonna be fist on fist, foot on foot, and we're gonna have to duel it out. And that's how that goes. Let's continue.
Don't like that when women are thorough that you all say, oh, you're met with what's masculine energy? Like, what do you consider?
With you not needing me. Like y'all where I don't need you on your goddamn shoulder to the fact that you don't have to say it no more. You pretty much, your aura says that. And so for a man, we like, I see she don't need me, so I'm gonna play the game to get what I want, and I'm gone. Do I like her? Hell no. Would I make her my wife? Hell no. Will I make her my girlfriend? Absolutely not. But I like her sex.
She'll be good to knock off the list, basically.
Right, exactly. You know what I'm saying?
And here's the thing, and like I said, I'm probably gonna get stabbed on this one, but if we're being honest, I think women are like born narcissists because
All right, with that said, I wanted to respond to that as well. Yeah, I do think women are born as, especially the ones today. I don't. It's hard for men to be narcissists, and I think a lot of men become narcissists off of. Men become narcissists when they probably exert a lot of money, or they become into some kind of wealth or something like that, and then to me that's where their narcissism might kick in a little bit. Or maybe he's too like, you know, good looking above all the men in the group, and he's well known to be get those compliments and so forth. He might become a little bit narcissist, right? But I, my experience again, I think most women, even the calm ones, are generally narcissists because and then as they get older, they become that way. Point to say that is this: they're raised that way. You need to be supported. You need to be taken care of. Whatever you want, you should get. If he don't treat you this way, you need to move on. If you don't do this, you need to move on. You have the kids. You decide how the kids supposed to be. If you don't allow to have the kids or just make decisions, then you need to move on. It's always about. It was always told to women is like me, 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 me. So, pause 1 second.
as a
That's the
man,
word that's One woman did and just pour it all over
I've had many,
all over women.
and most of them act the same because
But then
of
what
the fact.
about you that you keep attracting these same women that act this certain way?
Right.
Because all women don't act the same.
Right, you're
Maybe it's
absolutely
what
right.
you attract.
No.
So maybe you need to check it.
Okay, so right now she's a little hot. I mean, she's been hot from the time the show started. This is what most women do. They get upset. They start pushing back and getting being unharmonious. They start blaming you for everything you do, blaming you for the decisions that you're making and stuff like that. But he's generalizing, and she's now saying that it's the women that you choose. So are you saying that all the women I picked was horrible women? That's what you're saying? In today's time, most women will run through multiple guys before they even reach 25. You could choose none of them, and the same thing for men. I'm not saying that. It's just that what we're saying is the age where we was getting locked down between 18 to 25. That was marriage age. We're now locking down between 28 and above, or at this point, it's not even a lockdown at all. All the women that we're running into are the same. They all want the same thing. They have a delusional mind, and they want the man to be this feminine side guy that they don't want really and truly, and they also push this negative energy of like just kind of want the guy to just say yes and to everything she said or do. Basically, they want to control everything that the guys do, in the man's world, but yet men don't get nothing in return. So it's a really selfish way of how women look at things. And then the first thing they do is blame you and say the women you're choosing or one woman hurt your feelings. No, it's not that. I could have been big men could if women was different, would have been locked down a lot. A lot of women push away the guys that they want to be with. That's really, to me, that's how that really plays out a lot. Most of the times, I would say they push away the dude that you want to be with the attitude and the negativity and all that, because they think that's how a woman's supposed to behave. Most of the women don't know how a man's supposed to behave. They don't know. They don't understand it. You know what I'm saying? But when men try to tell them, especially in today's time, we're telling them, okay, listen, we understand what went wrong, but this is what you're supposed to do because your mother and your mother before you and your aunties and girlfriends or whoever around this time frame did not do it right. You know what I'm saying? They did not do it right. So we're saying the damage was done. This is what causes the problem. Now we got to fix the problem that was caused, that created the problem. But you have to understand what caused the problem. And the thing is, they don't want to let that go. Anyway, let's move forward.
Yourself
It's
and
not
what
what
you.
I-
I want to skip that.
Motherfucker from the
that's-
hood don't even know
but,
what
all right,
intellect
so,
is.
so hold on.
I'm-
So that's the way he
So
looks.
conversation.
It's conversation. What's up to three? 1 to 3.
What was that? What else was the question?
I said, what are the 3 to 5 attributes that women assess when she's
Initially.
qualifies as a man?
just initially just in meeting a man and wanting to have a conversation.
That
or
goes in-
keep going further in the.
That goes into conversation.
Women
Go
don't know
with the
how to
conversation?
Yeah, that goes into
qualify a
conversation.
man. They
You
don't
go
know.
appearance,
The
you
way of
conversation,
qualifying a man is all about it's money first, and the way he looks,
See what
Size
You
of
know, when
penis.
you
maybe
get her age, your
maybe.
standards ain't really that high no more. You know, they just
Depends
want
on
the
the type of
basic
job
shit
he
when they
Well,
get in
has.
what
their
the fuck is
50s.
wrong
Okay,
with
so
that?
How he
Hold on, hold
drives.
on.
here's
What is
Right?
wrong with my?
here's
Hey,
They're
hold
very
on, hold
shallow
on,
things,
hold
you know what I'm
on,
saying?
hold on, because you can't throw nothing out.
School, and they ass get older and they beauty ain't as beautiful as it was. In they mind, they still
No.
that same bad bitch they was when they was 25.
And what's wrong with
And you're
that?
not, cause you ain't.
Who says they
You,
not?
we men, we have to give y'all value.
No, the fuck you
Yes, we
don't.
do. The
Is you
buyer
done lost
sets the
your
market.
mind? Do you honestly think women are sitting around here saying, I have no self-worth until this
I'm not saying
man
you
come
don't have
along
self-worth.
and tell me I'm beautiful,
What
Oh,
I'm
till
wait, so
he
you're
saying
talking about
tells
is,
me I'm
self-worth.
worthy, till he tells.
So before she started going into the rant and all that, the question was what the compare the man's work to the woman's work. That was the comparison, and I saw this part of it, so I'm just kind of like tackling it real quick. And the question was, what is do you know the value for a woman compared to a man's value? Like, how does the woman gain her value? How does the man gain his value? And they answer the question. And like I said, most women don't really know. I mean, some of them kind of do, but they don't care. Some of them do know, and they don't care. But at the same time, they look at it like it's some equal to it. They be like, "Oh, women gotta do it too." No, 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 no. Women are born with their worth. Unless you're coming out rich, you know, you're coming from a rich, fortunate family. But guess what? Even in that rich, fortunate family, the men still have to prove himself. In most cases, the men still have to prove himself. He still have to show he can hold down the business. Because they're not going to pass it on to him until he do the work and the trials to sustain the stability of him mentally capable to manage the way how business works. For a woman, whether she's in a rich lifestyle or poor lifestyle, her value is met, and it depends on how pretty she is. Now, if she's super duper pretty, it's up there. It's top tier. If it's a low grade pretty, then she's still a woman. She still get the opportunity to do what she want to do as a woman. It's just that she's not gonna get picked by a lot of guys, but she's still gonna be picked by a lot of guys, right? Because a chick that's not pretty can still get the top tier men. A dude that's just a regular dude, he ain't getting no high class chick. He getting a low class chick, and then the low class chick, that's the possibility. He might just have to get one and hold on to that one, and that's it. For a low class chick, meaning that she's not too pretty, or she's below per average or whatever, ugly girl, whatever if you want to call it that, she could still get multiple dudes. Well, an ugly dude or dude with no money and nothing, he might never get nothing at all. If he lucky, he gets nothing unless he paying for it. So that's the difference between a woman who have value and a man who have value. A woman is born with her value. She just got to be a female. A man is gonna find her, and he's gonna raise her as his own, no matter what the situation is. She lucky to if she most likely she gonna find a good dude because ain't every guy out here bad, right? He might not be the richest dude, but he will still want to take care of her. He'll try his best to do so. A male, for males, we have to work hard. We have to literally work hard. We have to push the nail into the damn wood. We have to get our feet dirty. We have to get hands dirty. We have to go through some trials and tribulations. We have to go through a lot of failures. And if he succeed, or when he do succeed futurely, she, I mean he or she will meet each other. Let me put it this way: once he succeed and he start making a good income or whatever the case, or he might get his own place or whatever the case is, women see him now because he started to do something for himself. But when he didn't have nothing, ain't nobody seeing him. Now let's say the dude is might be a good looking dude, but he's like, he just ain't got nothing to show for himself. He might get an acceptance of some coochie, but long term relationship, they're not gonna see him for long term. He gonna just be a fun time for a short time. But long term, they're not gonna be with him. Now, if he get a job and he hold himself down, yes, he might be able to find a girl and settle down with. But for women, they don't have to work. They don't have to do anything. They don't have to go to school. They don't have to have no education. They don't have to have nothing. But a man would wife her up. So that's how that goes when it comes to um, value. Man
Me
value
that
versus
I'm
woman
good
value.
enough,
What I'm
then
saying
I'm
is
gonna
men
sit here
set
and
the
common
market for
sense
women's value.
say they're not something. If you wake up in the morning and you feel like I am a star, I am her,
Nobody
I am
believes you.
this.
We don't give a
Who
fuck how you
cares
feel about
what you
yourself.
believe as long as I believe
Right
in
there, what she's
myself
talking about, that's
and
part of
that
narcissism.
flows off that blows off me.
I'm
You're saying I don't know what kind of women, but you're a woman and you know these women exist. We know it's fuck boys out here, and we can sit here and say, you know what? Yeah, we understand fuck boys. You became across some fuck boys and shit like that. So there's a sense of accountability that has to be taken.
You can't make me be
right
accountable
because
for no
you say you don't
trash
know.
ass
You're
women
right.
I'm talking
And
about.
look, and this is more crazy because she say she don't know these kind of women, but yet she getting heated defending these hoes. If you don't know them, let us talk about
You
them.
not finna call
You
no.
claim-
You ain't finna sit on here and call no women no hoes either.
You defending the hoes that you not a part of.
Don't tell
If you
me
ain't no
hoe.
hoe,
So this is another part of the issue that why I said women are the problem. Until we learn to fix women, especially our black women, we're gonna never be successful as men, black men or African men or melanin men, to establish the things that we want in terms of moralism, humanity, a strong cultural family, stuff like that. We have to we have to weave out the women that don't want to change and focus on the ones that do want to change, the ones that see and understand what they're supposed to be and what they're supposed to do in the future. We have to separate. Like, for example, you know what? I have an idea. I think I'm gonna highlight this real quick. The white people separate themselves from the ghetto white people. They don't even allow them in their neighborhood. And if they're in the neighborhood, they separate themselves from that particular group of people or family or house or whatever. Like, I've seen it. Like, if you go to a white neighborhood and there's a house or a group of maybe one or two, three houses, whatever it is, and that they know that house, they smoke crack or they have gang members or whatever it is they does. The community don't even want their kids hanging out with those group of people kids. They will separate. They will, like, you see every other house around that particular house look family oriented, look tribal oriented. Then with that one house that have the disruptions in it, it looked like it's a standalone house. Nobody really messing with it. I've seen that. Like, you don't see trailer park people generally hanging out with suburban, like, white. They separate themselves. I'm not saying they're not family. I'm not saying they're not friends or whatever. I'm saying they separate their self from, like, low class white people. I've seen that. Like, if you look at, like, for example, like in Camden or Philadelphia, uh, Kensington, with them areas where all the crackers and stuff hanging out. A lot of white people that is fiends and stuff be hanging out on it. You don't see high class white people in the mix or living around in those areas. Those areas are pretty much pushed away from where the more normal high class white people live. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what black people need to do. We need to separate ourselves. Black people who make good money and they want to live a certain type of way, separate themselves from the ghetto black side of people. Let the ghetto black side stay where they are. Even if it's just next door, it's fine, right? But they gotta be like 3 or 4 streets down the road or something. You know what I mean? Like they gotta be like 10 blocks or 5 blocks down the street. This is the black good neighborhood. That's the black messed up neighborhood. When they come up, whenever they pass this block, there's cops galore because the black neighborhood don't allow the ghetto neighborhood to come around and just hang out and do whatever they want to do. And I think that's what black people need to start doing. We need to segregate ourselves from the ninjas who just don't want to change, or the ninjas who want to live in this cycle mentality way. And we got to move that way. I'm not saying segregation is the way to do it. I'm not saying red line or, but I'm just saying we need to figure out a community where black people who want to live in a certain type of way, want to raise their kids a certain type of way, they want to go to a certain school, separate from that community. You know what I'm saying? And it's like a class system type shit, if you ever really think about it. It's like a class system thing. So you would have lower class deal with lower class, upper class. I guess you could say upper class, aka middle class, or top middle class, and top tier class, or lower class, middle class, top tier class, or it could just be middle class and top tier. However they want to do it, have those separation. You know what I'm saying? Because the blending of ninjas with the people who, the melanin people who don't want to live that type of lifestyle, who, and I'm saying it's not all. Here's the thing, because I'm not stereotyping at all. Here's the thing: some poor black people, like who don't make a lot of money, but they live amongst these ninjas, don't want to be around them. They don't want to raise the kids in the environment. You know what I'm saying? So it's not all of them. It's just kind of hard to separate yourself because you're amongst them. Anyway, and then that goes into what dude was saying when he's saying, why are you defending the hoes or whatever? Because you say you don't know none of them, and if you don't know none of them, why are you defending them? They're shaming. They gotta be shamed. That's who they are. Back in the day, when there's a girl in the hood, I'm just not the word hood, but if there's a girl in the neighborhood or the school that's a jump off, everybody knows she's a jump off. It doesn't mean she don't have friends, but every guy knows and every girl knows who she is. We all know who she is. And here's the thing, she gonna have to be confident in herself and move the way she's supposed to move. If she don't like it, she either change or she gonna have to repent somehow, or separate herself from the society that she's in and go amongst the people that tolerate the shit. But if the neighborhood or the village, if whatever you want to call it, don't support that, she will be shamed for it. Oh yeah, that's so and so down there. Boom, boom, boom. Everybody know who she is. No, I don't want my kids hanging out with her. That's how that shit goes. If you catch your kids hanging out with her, say, hey, why you talking to her? That girl she ain't got no life. She ain't trying to make a life for herself. You ain't gonna be around her imitating the things that she's doing. And that's how it used to be, right? To bring shame and preventative measures to not have your kids hanging around people who want to influence your kids to do negative things. Because, like I said, we come from the era where, where we have been placed into making rational decisions and creating a lot of disruptional families. The damage is done. The question is we gonna fix the damage and keep maintain the going forward from there, or are we gonna ignore the damage and just focus on the results of the damage being done? Because we know what created the damage, right? But we have to know the damage. We have to understand what the damage is. We have to understand where it came from, how it came, what is it supposed to do, what is it doing, and then say, I don't want that for my future family. I don't want that for myself. At what point do you want to stop being so strong, so masculated, so I don't need a man, so you know, men need to do this, men need to do that. Defending women bad behavior, even though you know that's wrong. Yeah, even though you was in that environment and you changed, change it. I could speak for my, for myself. You know, most black people have family members that deal with drugs or have been some part of drug situation, whether they sell it, use it, or whatever the case is. Most men would come out and say, "Yo, I've done this, I've done that, I've done this." When you ask women what is their guilty past that they feel like they should have never taken part of or part in their life where they just wasn't understanding how things supposed to be, they have a shame. They don't want to speak on it because they don't want to accept it. Most dudes accept it and say, you know what, yeah, man, I used to do this. I used to do that. And I stopped because I realized that was bad for my community. That was bad for my peoples. But in this situation, like she was defending, she's defending the O's and all that stuff, even though she says she don't associate with them. How could you not associate with somebody, but yet you want to defend them? Why? Because you're not giving them power. You're not saying women can go out and do these things, but men can't go out and be hoes, right? So can men be hoes too? So you should defend men being hoes too. You should defend men going out and doing these negative things. If you don't want to, push back on both sides. But anyway, let's move forward.
No,
Stop defending.
stop telling me what
I'm not
speaking
defending fuck
about
boys.
women. I'm speaking about women. I don't know these women that you all
We
are
do.
talking about. That's what I'm saying.
You do
So
know
I,
'em.
no, I
You
do
ain't
not.
telling me you've been alive 50 something years and you don't know no hoes.
I'm 50.
You don't know no hoes after 50 years. You don't know no hoes.
You ain't had no friends that
Really?
fuck friends? Man.
Come on, Robin, stop it.
You don't know no friend. You ain't never been around no friends
I
that
don't
fuck
know
friends,
these-
man.
She know
I
plenty
don't
hoes.
know the.
Nah, I gotta ask
I
these
don't
questions.
know the women that y'all talking about. Y'all not saying. Y'all not speaking in the.
Is she not answering the question? She do know women. She has seen women, and she has seen women on the street. So this is the problem that we have. Women defend women in their bad behavior, and this is why shaming is important. Until women start shaming women for the things, and then again, you know what? Too, this is just my opinion. It's not an opinion in the fact. I think women don't want to shame other women because they want to have the access to do the same thing that these women are doing, or they have done it, or they have intentions to do it, or they admire them for being something that they want to do, but they just probably not have the courage to do it themselves. So they're giving those women the encouragement to do it, or they're supporting those women to do it, or they're just saying, I might not do it myself, but I'm not gonna, down the woman for doing it because she have her reason. Yeah, but her reason is wrong. That's point blank. Period. Her reason is wrong.
A sense where these seem like personal conversations. y'all
These
having
ain't personal,
alone
these are
about
general.
women.
But I want to move along.
I see them on. I did see the when Deion Sanders brought her in the locker room.
And she gave them guys a whole speech on how women trap dudes. Trap these athletes.
I did see that, but as far as like her being a hoe and all that kind of stuff, I don't know.
So, I mean, you think a woman that has sex with 40 men ain't a hoe? No.
I mean, how old is she?
She's in her 20s.
I mean, 40 is a large number.
Yo, this is crazy. Did you hear what he said? He asked if a woman has sex with 40 men if she ain't a hoe. He said, how old is she? Does the age matter? Most people say anything more than 5. Most people. Some people say 10. Some in these 10 we have a lot of street dudes. Let me say something straight up. Dudes who don't care about women sexual body count is maybe one. I would say maybe like two to three reasons. The third reason is a possibility. The first reason is this. He's a hoe himself. He's not interested in settling down with no woman whatsoever. How many men out here don't want to do that? A very small number of men. Or some of those men that they want to be hoes until they don't want to be hoes no more. Right? That's number one. Number two, some of those men who don't have a problem with woman body count is because they know they have a big D. which means most likely every woman they come across, she gonna have a hard time dealing with him because she is a good size, right? I would estimate it to be about, I would say anything above maybe a 9 or 10, right? With growth, not just long, skinny, with growth, with 9 and above, with growth, possibly an 8, but we have to have growth. But I would say 9 and above with growth is morely over the top when it comes for women, right? Because most women they settle for a 6 and they have a nice size. A 6 would do them wonderfully. It'd be awesome. A 8 is perfect. A 9 is beyond perfect, right? A 9 is like diabolical, right? So anything beyond diabolical is like what the hell? Is and most dudes out here is above 9. You know what I'm saying? So that's number two. Number two is the size. I would say 9 and above. Those men don't threat because, and most likely any woman they get with, they have a good. The size is pretty and decent enough, right? And the third is a possibility. The third is he got a lot of money. He's a high status character, like he's a movie actor or singer or some kind of famous something, and he just have a lot of option to women. So he don't really care about body count because I could get a bunch of chicks. So why do I give a shit? I don't give a shit about no body count, right? So those are those three options when it comes to men who don't give a shit about body count. But you want to hear something crazy? Those same three character groups of men, still would not pick a girl and marry her with a higher, super duper high body count. They would still have to vet that chick that have a high body count. I don't know what their limit is, but they would have to vet. All three of them, they're gonna vet. Like, okay, whatever number they want to settle with, they're gonna vet because the vetting process comes with a woman with high body count. Also means that she comes with a lot of problems. Her vajayjay is messed up, right? Like, her mentality is messed up. Her vajayjay is messed up. Her body structure is not in par. You know, um, you just can't teach her shit. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell her nothing. There's nothing about her that you can give her, so change her or whatever. So that's no, that body count thing is not going to work. Now, a lady with low body count, the best number I would say 5. Well, that's not the best. I mean, like the more acceptable number would be 5. Some say 10, but I would say 5. The best number is 0. The best number is 0, meaning you have no body count. Possibly 1, but no body count. If you're over 25, 1 to 2. From 25, which means that by the time you turn 18 to 25, it's 1 to 2. That'll be the best would be 0, right? But 1 to 5, 1 to 1. I mean, 18 to 25, 2 would be a decent number, right? That's just in my I think generally. I can't speak generally, but I want to say generally. But generally, 0 is the best. You know what I'm saying? Now, I know a lot of guys be like, oh, I need my girl to have experience, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. That means she gonna come with some kind of problems, right? But anyway, and girls with experience can learn to, like, I'd rather have a girl where I can teach her something because she's learning to do something that I like, the way I like it, and she not being taught by no man, so she can't think of nobody else but me. And I pretty much think women probably like the same thing too. They want to be with a guy who only thinks about her and da 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 da. Da. But men are polygamous creatures, so we can have more than one woman. We have the entitlement to have the capability to do so, right? You know, if it wasn't for a lot of these changes in the world, where men are now become more subservient to women, I would say we have a lack of ability to do a lot of things that men are capable to do naturally. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, let's continue with the video.
She in her
How
twenties
do
too.
you have that kind of? I don't know.
So this probably like
Yeah,
three, four,
I mean,
five niggas a
to
year.
give
Shit.
to give that much access to yourself to different men with no with no intention but to just give them access. That's the type of
See,
whole
see,
shit.
the thing about it is, why
That is, that's whole shit.
a lot of women don't see, and I've experienced this before with a woman, right, who wasn't a hoe but had sex with a lot of men, right, and it's crazy that I say that, right, because generally speaking, for men, we would call them a hoe if they had sex with a certain number of men, right?
Yeah.
But this girl wasn't a hoe; she was just easily tricked.
Yeah.
She was one of them quick to fall in love ass women for niggas
Gullible.
that.
But he lacks in the bedroom, and she
But
said,
then-
"I know I'm going to cheat." I do give her kudos for being accountable of knowing herself on that level. But at the same time, she turned around and said, "Oh, sex is not that important in a relationship."
I would say she's fucking delusional because
but she says-
messed with
but you
girls.
said-
So
yeah.
you left a good man with a little order for a girl that ain't got no order.
For any,
But she
yeah.
don't go buy the size order that she want.
Well, he could have put a size order over his
I mean,
order.
did she give him that option? Or did
I
he-
don't know what they got
You know what I'm
going
saying?
on, but
If a woman like a woman, you find a way to make it work if you got a little
Yeah.
pecker. Because if you do a woman shit, it's not even about the penetration. So
But
don't
you
bring up
can't-
that part of it.
You can't. First of all, you just can't fake the chemistry. If you're with a man and he checks all these boxes,
She
and
said
that
he had
one
good
little-
chemistry. She said they
and
had good
that
chemistry.
one little box is, makes you feel like, oh, I just can't, yeah, then maybe you have to move on. You have to go where you feel like you'll be happy.
You know what the sad part about that is? She break
I mean,
up
if your
with
boxes
him
are important.
10 years from now. She's gonna be living in regret because it's like she's gonna
And
have to
maybe
go.
not.
She
Maybe
gonna have
she'll
to
find
go
somebody
through some
that
things.
literally
And
checks all the boxes.
here's the thing.
All right, so what I want to do this in terms of long-term relationship chemistry, I want to push on that because that's an important conversation right there as well. It's mostly in the women's side, everything is on. It's always something to do with the women for some reason because men don't leave relationships, and once a man commit to a woman, he commits to her, even if she's doing horrible things. In some guys, not saying some guys shouldn't walk away because there's some things that are just way too far, right? But women commitment is so emotional. You don't even know if they're coming or going. You don't know when they're staying or leaving. It's really messed up. Like for you not to understand how a woman value their loyalty to somebody. It's like you constantly have to be bribed to keep her. Like you know what I'm saying? Like why should I have? I don't think that's how we should be. And it's not a normal thing to be honest. Of course, when it's not normal, it's just more of a modern thing because like I said, from the cause of the issue to the problem of the situation. So that's in the effects of the cause to the problem, right? The effects of the problem from the cause. We have to change that situation as well. Women need to learn how to be committed. Like, no, stop running away. Stop finding excuses just because you want some goddamn popsicle and you can't afford to get this popsicle. You want to leave. You want to buy a bag, a purse, or travel here and there. You want this kind of car, this kind of house. You can't get everything you deserve or want. And men know that. Like if I'm like men know that if they're with a woman, they're not gonna have sex every day, even though he might want it. He got to be able to fall back and love you even though still you don't do it. Should he leave you just because you refuse to give him once or twice? No. Should he leave you because you just spend the money and do different? No, he shouldn't do that. So women should want to give the same grace when it comes to long-term commitment, trials and tribulations, bad or good, what I mean, and be able to stick around, stand around, and make it work. And if you see there's a lack for something, you're supposed to participate and, build that lack. That's what you're supposed to do, right? So we need to stop putting like everything is like I said. The women is the problem. I can't stress this no other way. Every time I look for a solution to kind of take them out of it and say, well, men need to work on this, men need to work on that. It result back to what women do. Because if men work on themselves, who are these men gonna be with? The same messed up women. You know what I'm saying? So we have to work on the women because the men are easily can rearrange and adapt to their social norm because men know what it is to make themselves who they are. And the ones who don't, we can separate ourselves from them. We could just say like boom, we could dap them, boom boom, you cool my dude, okay boom, we keep it moving. What's in my household is not in his household. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it goes back to the women all the time.
Can't stay mad forever.
What would you be willing to sacrifice other than sex? If you had a partner, like, would sex be a deal breaker for you? Like, if his sex wasn't good, would he be able
Yeah,
to?
I'm not dealing with no. Me personally, I'm not dealing with erectile dysfunction and you can't rise because you got high blood pressure. When things, you have to take care of yourself.
That's the 50-year-old niggas.
But why is it? Hold on. Why is
Some
it
of you
always
motherfuckers in your
our
30s
fault?
and 40s.
Why is it
that have-
always our fault that he got erectile dysfunction? No, sometimes you ain't did nothing to turn me on.
Not one woman has a penis, so your erectile dysfunction is between you and your penis.
But men
Wow.
have to get around.
No, that part is a lie. There's a study that showed that most men get erectile dysfunction in a relationship with a long-term relationship, whether it's marriage or just a regular relationship, but it's long-term. Men who get dysfunction most in a more how should I say causable way is like they drink too much or too much body how should I say exhaustion, like they worked so much that they just don't work no more, or they have they got a car accident. You have to be like physical things that happen to them, something that they did like drugs or drinking too much alcohol, stuff like that, or they got some kind of internal injury or something, that caused them to have erectile dysfunction. But most cases, erectile dysfunction is created through relationships, which means the lack of the woman refusing to have sex or be sexual to the man she's with, making the man feel like he's desired. To me, what I think erectile dysfunction is normalized towards the man because the woman does not turn him on. I believe that's the reason. Because even if you have a girlfriend, and I think a lot of dudes can relate to this when I say this. Men and dudes, it doesn't matter. Even in the younger folks, right? When we have a girl, right? Your girl look good, she's sexy, she's turning on, boom, boom, boom. But she could be fine as shit. But once she starts rejecting you sexually, when she start turning you off your sex appeal, when she start not making, being how should I say, vulnerable to you sexually, right? Submissive to you sexually, or when she start rejecting things that you want to do or ideas, when she start being difficult to pursue sexually, you know, to keep pushing your way or making excuses, stuff like that. Your mental desire for her would deplete. It's not that you don't want to have sex. It's just that your mental desire towards that woman would deplete. Because in your mind, she's going to say no anyway. In your mind, she's going to make it difficult. In your mind, she's going to give you a hard time. So you kind of like draw your energy to like, I'm not even going to try, but I'm going to try and see if it works. If it works, then I'll probably go. But if it don't, let me prepare myself for it to not work. So your blood flow doesn't go where it's supposed to go mentally. It's in prepared zone. It's just on the flight deck to take off. But due to the fact that you have this barrier, you gotta open up the door for the shit to fly out for the speed for the blood course. It's not gonna go because you're holding them back because you don't want to be disappointed. And what happens is that becomes normal. And that part of your brain becomes stronger and stronger and stronger to where now it becomes normal to hold yourself, your sexuality back. So when a girl is trying to turn you on, it becomes harder for her to turn you on, or for that woman to turn you on, or for you to even be aroused. I think it could be fixed because when most men go have sex without, like, this is why men end up having side chicks and stuff like this. Because when those same men want to have sex with the women that they have and their thing doesn't get hard or whatever the case is, when he go to another chick and that chick rubbing on him, turning him on, she's reawakening that part of his brain, to make his blood flow, to make his organs function down there, right? Hey, dude, wake up. Open up that door, you know, and boom, next minute his shit is rock hard. But for the men who don't get sex a lot, it's a deprivement of sexuality. It's a deprivement of a woman that turn them on. Like, here's another example. You can be to go for 30, 20 to like 30, 20 years, 40 years, however long it is. If that woman is depriving you from a sexual, desire, she's not turning you on, she's not doing nothing sexy. I mean, she don't have to be like a total freak, but she got to be able to be fully accessible. She have to be able to just give it to you whenever you want it, no threat, no holdback, no fight, nothing. She just like, you want it, take it, do what you want with it, right? Let you examine however the best way you know how to make her feel pleasurable. If the woman wants to do that, you will feel good because you know it's accessible anytime, whenever you want it, however you want it, right? She's not gonna reject it. She's not gonna make it difficult. She's not gonna make excuses, right? But once the woman start doing those things, you push back. You're gonna you're gonna just like, eh. Cause one day gonna turn into 3 days, and 3 days gonna turn into a week, and a week gonna turn into a month turn into 6, 7 months, 7 months turn into a year gonna turn into 1 year, into turn into 4 years. Next minute you probably ain't have sex with her for the last 3, 4 years, but y'all together still. And here's the funny thing about that. She's probably getting sex somewhere else. You can't get none at all. Because in your mind, you're focused on whatever it is you're doing. You thinking going to another woman, you're going to be disappointed because you already can't get up here. What makes you think you can get up over there? So you're going to just want to stay to yourself. Which now you're going to also now make yourself dysfunctional because you believe you don't have the ability to rise. And I think, based on the statistics and the information I got, I think that's the structure or the design of how dysfunction affects most men because of their attraction and the fact that women don't make themselves available. They're selfish. Like she said, she don't want a dysfunctional man, and she want a small this, small that, no heart this, no blood pressure, all this. Woman, you 50, I'm 50. What do you think happened to both of us? Isn't it unfair for you to say things to me like that? Because you got high blood pressure too. You just don't have something to stand up. I got to make you stand up. I guarantee you, if she volunteer herself to say, come here, baby, let me suck your dick real quick. I bet you he gonna get up. I bet you if she stopped this, rejecting him and making him feel less like as if she don't want him pleasurable sexually, he would always have the stamina that he needs. You know what I'm saying? Shit, he might even fix his blood pressure situation. So sometimes it's like human beings. Things gotta motivate us to want to do better or have better things. But if you keep drawing the motivation away, or the comfort for access, you're gonna be like, fuck it. It's like if you go into a friend's house and you like to chill, at the friend's house, but yet there's always some kind of complaint of you coming over there, or there's always a cause or effect or whatever for you to come over there. What you gonna do? At some point, you're gonna say, you know what, I'm gonna stop coming over. And slowly but surely, you're gonna show less and less and less and less and less. Soon, you ain't gonna be showing up at all. And then they're gonna be like, damn, where's homie at? I don't see homie for 3 weeks or 2 months or whatever. Let me call him. Yo, what's up? Dude, yeah, you come over like regularly. You don't come over no more. What's going on? Well, you know what I mean? I just got other things to do. But we all know the reason. He just never been felt the need to be around. They never given the need to say, yo, you're needed around here. Your company is welcome. They never give him give that person that comfort to say, you see. And then not only that, there's always some kind of cause effect for that person to be there. There's always something that person did wrong, or they're always clowning them, or whatever the case is. And the person be like, I don't want to deal with this no more. So then the person stop coming around. No, sometimes it's good for you to, basically say what your problems is, and, just move on from there. Sometimes people just don't see that you have a problem with something until you say something as well. You know what I mean? But anyway, but what she said though, it's selfish. That's some selfish shit. It's very selfish for a woman to say, if I've been with a man for 30, 40 years and then he have a dysfunction, he have a dick dysfunction because of you. Ain't no way you should have a woman. He don't do no drugs. He exercises. He work hard. He does all these crazy things, and let's say he put on a little weight. Okay, fine, but the only dysfunction, he should not have no dysfunction, because even he have all those things. You should always say, baby, let's do this. Baby, let's do that. Yeah, we might not be able to fuck like this no more, but we could do this. We could do this. Do this to me. Do this to me. You know what I'm saying? Keep this shit going. Don't stop. But what women like to do, what I think, this is just a thought on this one. This is my opinion on this one again. Women are selfish. But what they like to do is put all the burden on the next person. Not only that they're selfish, they're lazy when it comes to sexual desires as well. Women love sex, but they don't like to do the work a lot. Most of the time, they just want to lay back and let it happen to them. That's another issue as well. But like I said, even in that context, she still should be vulnerable. She still should be submissive.
So just like a woman has to get aroused.
But guess what? It's more to arousal when it's erectile dysfunction.
But it's always my fault though.
Your erectile dysfunction. If my pussy didn't get wet, it would be my problem, not yours.
No, y'all blame the same. No, that's theoretically. I say yes, but when the story is told, it's our fault. We ain't spent enough time down there. We ain't make her feel safe.
Situation be gone.
Yeah.
When you first meet a motherfucker, before the first time y'all do it, he be hard and you be wet. Goddamn it, ain't nobody touch nobody. Mm-hmm. So what happens to them feelings?
But when you have health problems and things like that,
when you're 50,
people that's out here in their 40s popping blue pills.
Please don't say you need some extra cheese on the taco.
I don't know what these niggas.
See, now they're reverting to the man to taking pills. Like, come on, bro. Like, let's just go,
personal
man.
problems. What I can say,
these niggas. Don't act like you don't know some niggas that go through that. You didn't let me finish. What I'm saying is, when you're dealing with a man and he knows, like a grown man, because I'm over 50, so I'm talking about grown men. I'm not talking about who y'all talking about.
Amazing.
I'm talking about grown men. When you're dealing with a grown man, he knows that you're paying your bills and you're doing this, that, and the other. And if he deals with you in that manner, yes, he will look out for you without you having to say, "Oh, give me some money."
So y'all gonna look out for us?
Hold on, time out.
I pay my bills and shit
Hold on,
too.
let me interject.
I don't fuck
You
with
can't look
y'all.
at me and say, "Oh,
Time out.
he might need a new grill this week. Let me buy him a grill."
I say,
But y'all act like all men is like y'all.
hold on. I just listened to how you articulated that statement, right? And I disagree because
You disagree with everything I say.
I agree with you on some stuff, but on some key points, I disagree. Like you said, with a real man, no, a real man is gonna make sure he's good. If I'm with you, exclusively, yeah, I can pay attention there. But a real man, and we don't know where it's going, I don't have to pay attention
They
to
don't
you.
know what the fuck a real man is. A real man in a woman's eyes is a nigga. Let them do what the fuck they want to do, say what the fuck they want to say, and move the way they want to fucking move. That's a real man to them. They have no fucking idea what a real man is.
First of all, I'm not weak. Okay.
Whatever.
So I'm not for
a real man. Don't
for
worry
the
about
weak.
shit.
I don't want.
So this is like they're in their 50s, and it's just to show you, like I said, our generation, which is the 40s, and then now you have the 50s into the 60s, right? There's always a 25 year difference, right? And then you have the new generation that's coming now, which is like 18 to whatever number, right? Oh man, this is crazy. 25 to what number? Right now they're talking about, men. They're talking about money, right? Income, what a man is entitled to do for a woman based on courting or relationship status versus what a woman should do, if she's working or not working, in relationship status or living separately in their own homes. This has been, like I said, it goes back to the point I made again. We know the effect. We know the cause, and the cause have effects, and the effects. No, I'm saying it wrong. We know the cause. The cause created these problems, and these problems comes with the effects of the cause. The cause, the problem, the effects of the cause. Because the problem is what we're having right now. We are dealing with the effects, which is in the problem, which is the problem that was created by the cause. If people don't know what I'm talking about, racist situations, reasons to keep the black community down because they want to keep us in a low income environment so we can do certain type of work ethic so we don't have to rise to overpopulate this, all of that good stuff. A lot of people don't agree with it, but that's the truth. And nobody can disagree with that, honestly, because our numbers are still the same, and now the problem is we supposed to deplete our family structure, which created single mom situation, which created, upbringing of dismantling kids, which created the effects as we are today, dysfunctional home, emotional black men, unemotional women, right? To the point where this lady's talking the way she's talking right now. That's the effect. And the relationship status is just part of it. It's all part of it. Because, until we fix this relationship issue, we're going to always have a black issue. We're going to always have these issues. To point out what they're talking about right now. What they're talking about right now is this. If a woman is working, as they so-called say, they're independent, they're strong, they don't need a man, they can make all their money, and then women are now making money equal or more towards a man, right? Black men, because white people still the head of honcho, they're still the top tier. We are the lower tier, right? If man makes 50,000 and he meets a woman that makes 25,000, that's a good dynamic. That woman probably might be staying with her parents or whatever the case is. He might live by himself, or he might be staying with his parents too. Whichever way it goes, I don't care. But none of the situation, this woman is gonna say he's not good enough for her because he don't have his own place, but he can. 'Cause he makes enough money to. I'm using a hypothetical. She can't get her own place because she only makes 25. So she get in a room or she's staying in the house where her parents are. But the man need to have some kind of, stability or some kind of home, right, for himself, which is necessary because men tend to have to take lead when it comes to building, security, home structure, stuff like that, to carry a woman and stuff like that. But probably he had to work on some building up his assets first, building up some money so he could do what he wanted to do. He just, working on it. But in the process of it, doesn't mean that he can't meet a woman to grow with him. No, he can find a woman in the process to grow with him. In an example, based on what she's saying, well, using the hypothetical that I just used, because her example is a little different. But I'm using these two examples to show what she's saying. So, but the lady that's making 25 and the guy that's making 50, she live with her parents, he live with his parents. He's chilling with his parents so he could build some money up so he can be able to do things on his own. But in the meantime, he might find a lady that makes it 25. She's now in the 25. She might not look at him the same way. She's going to say, oh, you're not making enough money, blah, 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 blah. She don't want to find a guy who already got it all done, set up and everything. Now, the guy who already have everything done, set up, he ain't not going to treat this girl the way he would treat a girl that grow with him. If he met a girl that was built in with him from day one, she could use her 25 and say, hey, baby, I make 25,000 a year, you make 50. Let's add it together and then maybe we could buy a house. I'm going to save this much, you save this much, and we could put it together and we do this. That's growing together. Because they both don't really have to pay a lot of bills. They just have to kind of maintain some things in their parents' house. But they're saving most of their money. On the flip side, the chick that's not thinking straight, she's going to say, nah, he got to have everything together. You have a car, you have this, done, the third. He live with his mom, so he's not good enough. Homeboy going to be like, okay, then let's move on. Now, here's another hypothetical. She make 50,000. He makes 50,000. They both have their own place. They both pay their own bills. They both have a car. He met her. He pursuing her. She's like, well, I don't need you taking me. I don't need you to do nothing for me. But you gotta have your own thing. Okay, boom. He's doing that. But then here comes, well, you're spending days at my house or whatever the case is. Oh, can I get some money to pay my light bill? Can I get some money to do this? Can I get some money to do that? Why? Like, I got my bills to pay too. You make the same amount of money as I do. Budget your shit. I got budget mine. So I should budget money for you, but you shouldn't budget money for me. And that's the dynamic she's talking about, where men have to have security for women, but women don't have no security for the men. Not to mention in these day and time, where women can now make way more money than the man in an extensive way, right? And manage the house 10 times full. While if the man was doing the same thing, he would never ask her for a penny. He would just make sure she's straight. Matter of fact, he would upgrade her to a better living lifestyle and make sure she's straight. But when the woman is doing it, it's not the same thing. It's okay, fine. She don't want a man to just be at home and not do anything. So what? How about this? Build him up, upgrade him, put him in, create a business or some shit, and let he manage it. He could. I mean, at the end of the day, he's still with you. He's still making sure shit get done, right? You just providing the resources. Why can't you do it that way, right? But women don't think like they don't think strategically in that way. They just think selfishly. Oh, you just want him to know. He want to build. If there's men out here that have met women that in small numbers, we're talking small numbers now. There's men out here that have met women or been with women that help them succeed in a certain way. And these men have now surpassed those women. And guess what? That woman can get anything she wants now. Why? Because she was there for him. She helped him build. She helped him succeed. She gave him the resources he needed to expand to the level that he needs to get. And now he's there. You don't have to do shit. You don't have to even use the money that you make. You can still have your business. But he's doubled what you make on your business and still be able to take care of you. And come on. That's just a smart thing to do. But that most women today don't think like that. They still want to take all what they have and take all what you have. So you still got to pay her house, your house, and everybody else's house. Here's another thing that black people need to work on in this new era. We're going to have to open up the door to polygamy. Because most of these men is not desirable for, they're not masculine enough, they're not desirable to have those type of leadership roles or those structural roles, or they're not desirable to have those cultural roles, cultural mentality roles, right? Same thing for women. We're going to have a lot of women we have to deplete because when I say deplete, I don't mean kill or anything like that. I'm talking about like ignore or abandon or whatever the case is. What is it that they call them? Banish, right? They're going to have a lot of women going to have to be separated from the tribe because they're going to be a bad influence for the new generation. And you don't want the new generation to come up to go forward with this negativity. Because we need to change that shit today. Like today, not tomorrow, yesterday. We're too far down the line with these negative bad behaviors and negative stripes on our jackets. We need to take them things off and create a whole new thing. We need a whole new setup. So between those men and those women, we don't have to let them go and start a whole new generation. Now, there's more women than men, and they're gonna have more women than men in that time, in that tribe, in that new era coming. Because we talking about the LGBT men, we talking about the ninjas, you know what I'm saying? We talking about the weirdos. We talking about the men who might not just, be strong enough. The one who got the feminist attitude, you know what I'm saying? And then you're going to have the women's side. We're going to have to deplete. But I pretty much think there going to be more women. It's still going to always be more women than the men. You know what I'm saying? And then they're going to have women who going to just, more women are going to, because women adapt to their society. So more women are going to want to adapt to the new society because they want to be part of survival. And we have to, those are the things we have to work on moving forward. Those are the things that we're going to have to seriously take into consideration. Not even consideration. Those are the things we seriously going to have to do to make changes. We have to stop worrying about what we want now as emotional and feelings and all this stuff and go with what's logical, tangible, and effective to change our future. And with that said, peace. Like and subscribe. Let me know how you guys like the breakdown. I'm gonna be doing some more active videos. I got some other videos. I got some more. I don't just do reenactment. I do other things, but I'm gonna bring them. I'm gonna bring them forward, in due time. And hey, let's get talking. Let's start really talking about real results, real situations. And I know we do a lot of this YouTube space talking. Man, there's so much I want to talk about, man, but let's keep things on a, let's keep things on a straight and narrow path. Let's stop trying to be all over the place. But anyway, like, subscribe. Let me know you guys like the video. If you do want me to expand on anything, you can send me a question or whatever, and then we can go from there. Until the next one, peace.